All right, we are once again here to talk about the weather. Today's March 23rd, 2018. This might be the last time we do this. And Tom, I got to tell you, from where I sit, many miles away, this one just doesn't smell right to me. And I'm surprised that there was a winter storm watch, and I think there's still advisory out. It seems kind of weak to me.
Right. Well, okay, well, let's not start bashing the National Weather Service as of yet. Not saying that you are, Bill, but model guys.
I'll bash anybody.
Right. Well, I guess you can, right? There's no reason why you can't, but
I have no skin in the fight.
no. Of course, we all, no matter if you work for the National Weather Service or if you're a private meteorologist or just your armchair quarterback meteorologist, we all look at model guidance. I mean, if we didn't have model-like guidance, we'd be nowhere, and that's the truth. And we hinge our bets and our forecasts on each model run that comes up. I mean, we really do. And when you start dealing with these tight precipitation gradients like we've been talking about for the last couple of days, even the slightest little wobble can make the world of a difference. And I know that's been pounded into people's heads recently, but it's the truth. And it really looks like, at least from the morning guidance now, that is hot off the press, by the way, Bill, it looks like a wobble or a shift about 30 to 50 miles further southwest with that snow band is going to occur. And a lot of the reasons why guidance has a tough time finding out exactly where precipitation is going to fall is due to the dynamics of a system. So for instance, Bill, if we introduce thunderstorms or thunder snow to the forecast, that can actually zap energy from certain parts of a state and send it towards these thunderstorms. So hopefully that makes sense to you.
Yep.
Thunderstorms is a whole different dynamic that you rarely ever get in December, January, February, but in March, you get them. You get thunder snow. That's much more common, but then you get even tighter gradients when you get into March and April, for that matter.
Well, the other thing too, it always seems like, especially later March, it's an uphill battle with the sun angle, all those things. So it just seems like climatologically, everything seems stacked against it. So my feeling is that unless it's a pretty strong, obvious thing, it's probably kind of weak.
No, you're right, and it's obvious that snow is going to fall over Minnesota. You need to get that, William.
Let me turn that off.
As Bill is checking his phone.
All right. Here we go.
Bill. Oh my God.
I'm a busy guy. What can I say?
You know what? It happens to everybody, right? You really don't want it to happen in church, okay? So make sure you put your phone on silence when you're at church, all right, Bill?
Okay.
So, and that's happened to me before, so, and that's really, really embarrassing, especially right during a silent time at Mass, let's say, right? So,
or, not to get too off the track, but did you see the thing where the guy was being interviewed by some network and he was in his office and all of a sudden his little kid kept opening the door and it was just a...
I have seen that. By the way, that is great. In fact, one day we should post that video. It's an awesome video.
Yeah, no, but actually, it turned out good for the guy because the way he handled it and everybody could sympathize. But anyway, we digress.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen during the live broadcast. So that's the screaming message, right? But anyway, yeah, so we deal with these tight gradients, Bill, and it looks like guidance is going to try to and attempt to shift this even further southwest. And you know what? This isn't going to surprise anybody because we felt that things were still a little bit up in the air, which why you're probably a little surprised, Bill, that a winter storm warning was issued for portions of the southwestern Twin Cities metro. Now, I do expect that as afternoon progresses, I think the National Weather Service may drop that winter storm warning, but we'll see because I'm sure they're just like me. They're just going to want to watch radar unfold, and it's better to be safe than sorry. I would rather have, Bill, the National Weather Service issue a winter storm warning
or snow that never falls.
Yeah, and then have it not happen, then vice versa, right? Because nobody wants to be surprised with snow. I think they would rather expect snow and then have it not happen. So anyway, we were talking even before we started this broadcast, Bill, about how difficult this is for forecasters. And, the truth is, people in my situation, I'm sure the National Weather Service forecasters, we lose sleep over this kind of stuff. So last night, as I'm going to bed, I'm thinking, man, I can just see guidance shifting this storm track ever so slightly. And we lose sleep over this stuff. And
oh, Tom, come on.
we do. So I want everybody to understand that this is not easy for us. Okay, it's difficult. It's challenging. We live and we die by model guidance, and it looks like a bust in the forecast is going to.
Tom, did you see what happened in the Northeast? That talk about a bust. Places like Boston were supposed to get a foot of snow, and they got barely an inch.
Right. And you know what? That was kind of expected. I mean, if you really look at some of the conversations about that storm system, the National Weather Service forecast offices and just forecasters in general were really leery about that storm system. And to have it bust, I don't think was a surprise to a lot of people. It's just, the general public gets really uptight about busts, but that's part of life when you're dealing with.
And that's why I think there should be, some sort of confidence rating attached to forecasts. I mean, I know you say, hey, you're a forecaster, you got to put out what you think is the best, but I think the uncertainty of stuff like that has to be recognized, and then people are less surprised.
Yeah, I think you put it out there the best you can, Bill, and then you cut back when you have to. And that's exactly what we're going to do with this forecast. By the way, here is the latest HRRR model guidance. This is a real good guidance that usually looks out about 18 hours in time, Bill, 15 to 18 hours. And what I wanted to show you is, okay, here's the Twin Cities Metro, all right? And here we are currently. Look at all the dry air. This darker area, this gray area here, dark gray, that's dry air. And the green areas, which you will see, right, like right here in South Dakota, that's moisture. That's significant moisture for this time of the year down in South Dakota. But what I really want you to look at, Bill, is look at how the dry air, especially here in western Wisconsin and southeastern Minnesota, just kind of lingers and actually retrogrades or moves back west into this storm system as we go through time. Now, here's midnight tonight, and look at all this dry air over southeastern Minnesota, eastern Minnesota. Basically, the whole eastern half of Minnesota has a significant amount of dry air that is advecting from Wisconsin west into Minnesota, and that's going to create a wall between heavy moisture over southwestern Minnesota and dry air over southeastern Minnesota. So Albert Lee on up to Mankato, I still think snow's a pretty good.
Tom, who would pay for that wall? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you can always expect these awesome jokes from you, William. What would we do without you, Bill?
That's my contribution to this.
Right. But anyway, so we're fighting dry air, right? And I just get this funny feeling that the dry air is going to win out because model trends have been to push this snow band south and west. Now, here's the latest forecasted radar from this same computer model guidance. And, it's been snowing gangbusters here out in North Dakota, and it looks like that's going to continue. But this snow band, as it tries to move east into Minnesota, really dries up and becomes virga, which is precipitation that will not hit the ground and dries up before it can. But look at what's happening over South Dakota, Bill, and this was expected. Northwestern Iowa, these are thunderstorms with rain, all right, and some snow that are going to develop over eastern South Dakota and southwestern Minnesota this evening. This is at about 9 o'clock this evening. But also what happens, Bill, like we said, is thunderstorms can zap energy or moisture.
They can rob it. They rob it.
It's going to rob moisture from Peter and send it to Paul. Okay, and that's kind of what's going to happen here. From Wisconsin, it's going to rob the moisture from Wisconsin and southeastern Minnesota, and then send it back west into these thunderstorms. And that's going to produce this tight gradient of snow because the rain should change to snow over portions of southern Minnesota. But look, Twin Cities, here's Twin Cities, stays dry even through the midnight hour. Same with Rochester. Wisconsin, people in Wisconsin are wondering what the fuss is all about. But I do expect that snow gradient to be pushed further southwest, and basically all of the Twin Cities Metro likely stays dry through this entire event. Yes, I'm still a little worried about Carver and Scott counties, But even those areas may not get much in the way of snow. So, snow lovers, sorry, probably not going to get much here, at least in eastern Minnesota and Wisconsin. But it is March, and I think a lot of people are looking forward to spring. So, good. If you want spring and you want warm weather, Bill, I think it's on its way after this weekend and early next week. We'll get some warm weather, and that will melt the rest of the snow that is on the ground. Okay.
Very good.
So you're probably looking for the snow potential map now. This has been freshly updated by me, Bill. And I have decided to take the majority of the Twin Cities out of accumulating snow for tonight and tomorrow morning. So there you go. Even Rochester, I'm going to be really surprised if Rochester gets much in the way of accumulations. So really, if you draw a line from about, let's say Alexandria, Minnesota, southwest to, let's say, Prior Lake, and then, southeast to Prior Lake, and then continuing southeast to about Austin, Minnesota. I think that is where the line of accumulating snow is going to reach. So areas south and west of that line should get it, and areas north and east should stay dry, Bill.
It's a sad day for snow lovers, Tom.
It is. Now that could change, Bill. That could change. I'm not expecting it to change, but it could. Because
you think is this going to be our last chat of the snow season?
No, I mean, it's still, what are we at? We're March 23rd, Bill.
Yeah.
The snow season easily extends into the first week or two of April. So I won't be surprised if we still have one more accumulating snow, and it could be significant in the Twin Cities metro. But this one looks to be a bust.
The fat lady is singing.
I think so. We'll be watching radar all afternoon and evening, Bill.
All right. And Tom, don't lose any sleep.
Thanks, Bill.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.